Thank you very much, Chairperson. My question goes to the gentleman from South Africa who mentioned about the disposal of IT equipment. In Africa these days, we are actually importing a lot of second-hand or third-hand or fourth-hand equipment for the purpose of teaching our children in secondary schools, and we have a problem in disposing of it. Already, I, as a member of the ICT committee in the Parliament of Uganda, we've been asked on several occasions to make laws against importing second-hand, things like that, and we're in dilemma. I'm wondering, what comments do you have on IT management in South Africa? Disposal of IT management in South Africa?
Yes, is that question okay? Any more? Yeah, over there. You call your name and where are you coming from, sir, madam?
I'm Mrs. Koza from the Parliament of Malawi.
Malawi.
Yes, I'm interested on the presenter who was talking about the connectivity, like on the VPN, the interface thing. We have currently we have a separate building. We have a separate building where the chambers are and where the secretariat offices are. And when the Parliament is in plenary sessions, we would want to transfer the proceedings from the chambers to the secretariat who are recording the day-to-day proceedings. We tried to do a VPN connection, but we didn't succeed. So I wanted to know if there's a special software which could be used for that interface to transfer those transactions from the chambers to the secretariat offices. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Come in.
Yes, my name is Eduardo Menezes from Angola, IT department, and I would address a question to Mr. Viegas. I think he said that in Portugal they have a lot of political party and they are separated from each. They're separated. And now, do you have any data administrator for each political party on your parliament?
That's okay. That's okay now. Okay, let me give the chance to the lady. So here, and here. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Elisa Roszkowska-Öberg and I'm from Swedish Parliament. I just have to comment that it was very good presentations and that infrastructure in parliaments is a very special environment with very high needs for security. And my question to the speakers is, can you give us any advice how to find the perfect balance between security and usability? Because we see the trends towards cloud computing, mobility, but at the same time that makes quite high risks for security for documents that sometimes are quite delicate. How to find the perfect balance between security and usability and user-friendliness? Thank you.
This is a more general question, so yeah.
Hi, Hashim Al-Alawi from Bahrain Shura Council. My question is actually to the gentleman from Finland. You've introduced these services to the MPs, and like you said, some MPs like them, some don't. How do you maintain those MPs or basically encourage them to continue using these services? Do you stop providing paper documents? Do you, what techniques do you use to encourage them to keep using those services? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hold on. Let me ask the question, then I'll throw it back to him. Go ahead to ask the question. You go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Si el servicio de voz sobre IP se toma ya como un servicio que se debe proveer en la infraestructura del TIC, TTI.
Thank you, Chair. My name's Chris Wam. I'm a Member of Parliament from the National Assembly from South Africa. There's my colleague sitting there. I think my question is, I've got two. Basically, the first one is directed to the gentleman from Finland. I'd like to know the members that has got more resistance to your adoption of your new technology. Do they have? Are they based on age? Because our experiences from our members from Parliament in South Africa is not necessarily on age. I mean, I personally, I've got 1 or 2 chairperson of committees that can phone me midnight, 12 o'clock, trying to find out how they do certain things, and their age are above 50 and 60. You know. There are conceptions that way, you know, age might be a problem. And it's the second question is for the equipment or the support services you give out to members. How personalized are they? What kind of flexibility that you have? My particular background or reference to that point is in our parliament. When we give up laptops, for example, in this particular session, we had 2 choices: one laptop for all the members, and another choice is a smaller laptop or tablet PCs for disabled members. Although some people might say this is enough flexibility, my view is it's not enough. Say, for example, a lot of our senior members got back problems, and giving them big laptops has become a problem after a year or 2. In fact, after a year or 2, they don't use it. They give it to their assistant. They give it to their children. So my view is there must be more flexibility where members can perhaps not choosing the brands, but perhaps choose different sizes or different functionalities. Some members prefer security, some members prefer a smaller size, sacrifice performance, things like that. So what kind of flexibility that you have, or if other speakers can also make comments on that. Thanks.
Okay, now I'll give my speakers the chance to, as it were, answer their questions, starting from South Africa. The speaker from South Africa.
Well, I just wanted to say that you're actually not alone. It's a challenge, I suppose, that even in South Africa we face. Because a lot of the equipment that we bought historically were not environmentally friendly. So disposing of them by unsafe means would mean that we would be poisoning the environment for hundreds of years to come. I think we are probably fortunate that there are a number of companies that have seen this problem as a business opportunity. So there are certain organizations within the country that have made a business out of disposing of equipment in an environmentally friendly way, where they literally melt down the equipment to a point where they extract the precious metals and the poisonous chemicals that are in them and make sure they don't get into the environment. In your particular case, I suspect that you may have to find a similar method of disposing of the equipment, but I think the choice should be in the way you acquire it is upfront, is to make sure that the equipment that you're acquiring can be disposed of within the environment without doing too much harm.
Answer the questions which were referred to you.
Yes, Eduardo from Angola would want to know if there's any data administration from each political party in Portugal. No, the basic structure in the political parties group system is features on file server, print server, mail server, and at least collaboration tools, desktop collaboration tools. All administration, all databases, all heavy solutions are concentrated at the Administrative Services Active Director, which is managed by the Parliamentary Services. Okay.
Mr. Figueroa, do you have any question to answer?
No, solo acotar frente a una pregunta sobre cómo transmitir video entre dos locaciones. Es que puntualmente es posible usar un computador de bajo costo, incluyendo una tarjeta que se llama Osprey 100, la cual permite comprimir y transformar esta señal digital e incorporarla a la red. Pero además necesitamos un software que permita difundirlo, que nosotros en nuestro caso hemos usado el Windows Media Server, que permite difundir a través de la red este streaming de video. Desde ahí puede ser capturada la señal desde otro edificio. Eso es.
Thank you. Now I turn to Mr. Leskinen. You seem to have some more questions to answer. So, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I tried to address several questions at the time. One was about the usability and security of our solutions. It's a problem to balance between usability and security. When I was talking about our solutions, I forgot to tell you that technologically it was quite easy to, for instance, build this parliamentary laptop. It happened in, let's say, 2 months, but it took, let's say, 6 months or 8 months to build it so that it was usable. My idea to the project team was that we don't want to have a solutions that the user has to do this and that and that and that to make the connection. It has to happen automatically or at least with a single click, and that was difficult. If you can't provide such solution, forget it. It's not going to work. People are not going to use it if it's difficult to use. So you have to do what is doable, so that it's usable, and forget everything else. Take the other things into use when they are developing further, so that they are easy to use. That's how I feel. Somebody asked about how it is if some people want to use old ways of doing things, and somebody wants to use new kind of services or wants to use laptops, and the other person wants to use a paper and a pen. We provide both solutions. So if an MP really refuses to take this laptop, for instance, we don't force him to take it. We say you can keep your old desktop computer if you wish to. But what we try to do, we try to create such a good services that people want to have this new solutions, for instance, this laptop. Like if you imagine persons sitting in a committee room where you have several people who have a laptop and online database of everything that the parliament has done in last 20 years, he or she has a great advantage against somebody who has only a paper and a pen. I think it's going to happen that way. This also explains why some people don't like the idea of having a computer so that everybody has this device. What it actually means is that if your skills are not good enough, if, let's say in plain English, if you cannot use a computer and everybody else can, then what are you going to do? You are going to lose perhaps a debate only because of that. That might be one thing why emotionally it's hard to accept. I don't think it's a question of age. Although, of course, younger generations seem to be more, or let's say they are more educated in the sense of using computers, obviously it's so, but I don't think it's age-related. After all, it's a big problem for us, and I have no better answer than to push forward and make such a good devices and such a good services that everybody wants to use them. So, thank you.
All too soon, we are bringing this session to an end. But let me say this. We've talked about old and reliability, new and flexibility. One thing that I want to inject into the discussions that we've done so far is what we call preservation. Whether it's old and reliable or new and flexible, is there anything that we can preserve that over the times, no matter where we change, we can still use what we are using now? Let me draw your attention to something. Quite recently, in the 60s and early 70s, we were using paper cards, which we used to call punch cards. They have information. They are still there, but how useful are they to us now? Even though these punch cards do still contain the information that will be useful to us. Because of preservation, the format being used now, we find it very difficult, as it were, to read from these cards. In all their deliveries, one thing came out clear, that whether it's old and reliable or new and flexible, what is important is planning, management, and support. If we are able to plan our infrastructure very, very well, then no matter the time and changes, we will still be able to make good use of whatever facilities that will be at our disposal. Yes, we are moving. Everything is changing, and especially in Parliament. Some 10 years ago, we were not thinking of webcasting or web TVs. Today, we are thinking of webcasting and web TVs. Can we still maintain the old system and be able to do these things? Now, when it comes that we are going to the new systems, do we necessarily change the old system like payrolls and human resource management systems because we are moving to the emerging systems? To overcome all these things, what our speakers drew attention to was that we should be able to plan the way we are moving so far as infrastructure, ICT infrastructure in Parliament is concerned. And secondly, we must be able to manage what we've planned. Other than that, there's no way we can achieve what we want to do. Once again, let me thank you all for being part of this section. And I hope we are going to join the other session. And whatever we've been able to learn here will, in a way, help us to do something when we go back home. Thank you once again.